What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is how the US military smoked the Russians. Interesting.
It should be interesting.
We've been doing quite a few military videos with all the Desert Storm stuff, which will be coming out, I think, every 2 days pretty much.
Yeah.
So smash that subscribe button because you'll get notified for them and more videos. Smash that like button as well because the more you guys like the video, the more it gets pushed.
It doesn't. We're doing really well with subscribers at the moment.
We are. So smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. You're absolutely legends. We've got huge news. We're going to keep mentioning it all week.
Ooh,
on the
Friday.
24th.
It's on Friday.
Next Friday, huge news is going to be going out. The news is going to be going out around 4 o'clock Eastern, and then we're going to be doing a live stream at 5 o'clock Eastern relating to it. So look out for that. And are you ready?
I am.
Smash that like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. Let's check out how the US military smoked Russian mercenaries. What we got?
When the first vehicle in the convoy suddenly blew up, the Russian mercenaries knew something was wrong. Their objective, to capture an oil field in eastern Syria, was supposed to be a routine mission. The enemy, they knew by then, would have fled long ago at the sight of 500 battle-hardened Russian and Syrian fighters. But instead, the attack had come to an abrupt halt, and explosion after explosion shook the ground. It wasn't long before AC-130 gunships, Predator drones, Apache helicopters, and fighter jets were circling over the battlefield, pounding the attackers from every imaginable angle.
That must be
what the
scary
Russian forces
seeing all
didn't
that.
know was that the oil field was not defended by any fighters, but by American Special Operations Forces, supported by the most powerful air force in the world. And so, within a few minutes, the routine mission turned into hell on earth and into one of the deadliest engagements for the notorious Russian mercenary group Wagner. To stop the rapid advance of the self-proclaimed Islamic State, the U.S. had deployed troops in Syria since 2014. They supported the so-called Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF. A year later, Russia also intervened in the fight against ISIS, but on the side of Assad's Syrian government forces. The SDF and the Syrian army were never seen as allies, but in keeping with the saying, "the enemy of my enemy is my friend," both parties at least mostly avoided each other. After years of fighting, both armies managed to drive out the terrorists, and by 2018, ISIS held only a fraction of its original bases. To prevent an unintended conflict between Russian and US-supported armies, a deconfliction line was formed along the Euphrates River, which effectively bisects Syria. In addition, both parties were able to contact each other through special telephone channels that were kept clear at any time. But despite all these precautions, on February 7th, just a few miles from the Euphrates River, the first deadly clash between Russians and Americans since the Cold War occurred. Late in the evening of February 7th, 2018, 500 Russian and Syrian fighters attacked an SDF military base. The base was located about 5 miles east of the Euphrates River and controlled one of the country's main oil fields. Thus, like most oil fields, the area was officially on the Syrian Democratic side of the ceasefire line. But this did not stop the Syrian-Russian troops in any way. The attackers were supported by various Russian-made battle tanks, as well as mortars, artillery, and rocket launchers, with which they began shelling the SDF base without warning.
That's crazy.
In addition, Russian...
I mean, it would be super interesting. It may cover it in the video. How much this actually brought up tensions between like the US and Russia and stuff like that. Especially, obviously, this is quite a few years ago, but what's going on now and how tense it is. Did this bring up...
But then 2018, realistically, and it was only still 4 years ago, wasn't it? Definitely,
and obviously tensions are rising, but there always has been that tension. Did this kind of rise it a bit more for a bit? It'd be interesting, because I honestly have never heard of this.
No, I've never heard of this.
Let us know in the comments, it'd be interesting.
Air Force aircraft were on standby to provide air support, but initially remained on the ground. However, while everything was initially going according to plan for the attacking forces, the phone suddenly rang in the Russian headquarters near the Euphrates. A representative of the U.S. military was on the line and wanted to know whether Russian fighters were currently trying to take the military base at the Conoco oil fields. Here, not only the Syrian Democratic Forces were under heavy artillery fire, but also their allies, American Green Berets, Army Rangers, Marines, and various support units. After the Russians had explicitly denied the question whether the enemy were their troops, it was clear to the caller. Whoever was currently taking fire at his soldiers, he would feel the full force of the American military in just a few moments. The response to the attack on their military base was prompt and tremendous. Even before the Russian convoy reached its starting position for the attack, the first and last vehicles were taken out in a classic ambush maneuver, trapping the forces in the middle. The missiles came from an American Reaper drone, which had been targeting the convoy for some time.
But mad, aren't
However,
they?
to the Russian Wagner mercenaries on the ground,
like
the drone was invisible, and they had a hard time understanding where the fire suddenly came from. It didn't take long for more shells to hit, spreading chaos on the battlefield. American artillery and HIMARS rocket launchers engaged the convoy, inflicting numerous casualties. While the Russian forces were still trying to realize what was happening, 4 Apache helicopters appeared on the horizon. Although the gunships were several miles away, no one could hide from their precise infrared optics. The laser-guided Hellfire missiles found their target in the Russian battle tanks, while the 30mm cannon forced the enemy infantry to withdraw. Few of them were able to escape the explosive shells, and a Russian survivor later reported that they suffered about 200 casualties within the first few minutes, almost half of the entire attack force.
But I mean, they tried, they realised there's an issue, tried communicating with them, but didn't give them anything. They've got to act, haven't they? And just how intense it and quick it is, though.
Yeah, that's what's scary, and how big those explosions are.
Yeah, they stood no chance, did they?
The reports that are on TV about, well, you know, about Syria and the 25 people that are wounded there from the Syrian army, and, well, to make it short, we've had our kicked. So one squadron lost 200 people. Right away, another one lost 10 people. And I don't know about the 3rd squadron, but it got torn up pretty badly too. So 3 squadrons took a beating. The Yankees attacked. First, they blasted the out of us by artillery, and then they took 4 helicopters up and pushed us in a merry-go-round with heavy caliber machine guns. They were all shelling the holy out of it, and our guys didn't have anything besides the assault rifles. Nothing at all, not even mentioning shoulder-fired SAMs or anything like that. So they tore us to pieces for sure, put us through hell. And the Yankees knew for sure that the Russians were coming, that it was us, Russians. Our guys were coming to commandeer an oil refinery, and the Yankees were holding it. We got our beat rough. My men called me. They're there drinking now. Many have gone missing. It's a total It sucks. Another takedown. While AC-130 gunships circled
over... I feel like that conversation should be, obviously, it must be heartbreaking for him because he knows the people's like, but it shouldn't be, it sucks that we lost them. So it should be, wait, we should have never been doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We should have never gone there. We should have said, oh, that is us. Sorry, didn't realise the Americans had it. See you later.
Yeah. But they didn't.
Oh, they beat us again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my days.
For the battlefield, engaging individual targets, large B-52 strategic bombers completely destroyed the convoy. Those who managed to escape hid in buildings, but even there they were not safe for long. Late into the night, the attackers were hunted by F-15 fighter jets, whose bombs penetrated even the best cover. The new 5th-generation air superiority fighter F-22 Raptor was also used, but for the soldiers on the ground, it no longer made any difference who was pounding them. The Russian contractors did not stand a chance against the American Air Force. Although there were rumors that some pilots from the nearby Russian air base were asking for permission to take off, the blue-painted Su-34s and 35s remained on the ground.
Yeah, it would have kicked off if that
The
happened,
attackers' casualties were so heavy that in the middle of the battle, one of the Russian commanders called in and asked for a ceasefire, indicating that Russian military was in contact with the attacking fighters after all. A published call from a Wagner mercenary sums up events in Syria. Just had a call with a guy. So they basically formed a convoy, but didn't get to their positions by some 300 meters. One unit moved forward. The convoy remained in place about 300 meters from the others. The others raised the American flag, and their artillery started ours really hard. Then their choppers flew in and started everybody. Ours just running around. Just got a call from a pal, so there are about 215 killed. They simply rolled ours out hard. Made their point. What the ours were hoping for in there? That they'll run away themselves? Hope to scare them away? Lots of people so bad they can't be ID'd. There were no foot soldiers on the American side. They simply our convoy with artillery. When the battle ended early next morning, there was nothing left of the convoy of vehicles. All combat vehicles have been destroyed, with the exception of a single battle tank and armored personnel carrier. Of approximately 500 Russian and Syrian attackers, at least 200 were killed or wounded.
That's a lot, isn't
One
it?
of the mercenaries later reported that in some places they found solidified melted sand and gun barrels bent from the heat.
Oh my days.
There were no casualties on the American side and no reports of damaged aircraft. Only one of the SDF soldiers in the base at the oil field was wounded by Russian fire, but survived.
Good.
The incident sparked outrage on both Russian and Syrian sides, but since the Americans had repeatedly reassured themselves through the Russian officials, they could not be blamed.
You could say they asked them, didn't they?
According to intercepted phone calls between the leader of Wagner and Russian ministers, the attack was even said to be an order from Moscow.
Okay.
For Wagner Group fighters, the Battle of Conoco Fields went down in history as Red February and was one of their most humiliating engagements. At least some of them received a medal specially made for this event. It shows a Russian soldier surrounded by flames, heroically shooting at an American Apache helicopter. A scene that probably never took place in this way. The Syrian Democratic Forces and their American allies had successfully defended the base at the oil field and continued to fortify it. The demonstration of their superior air power was meant to be a warning to any hostile forces not to mess with the wrong people. Interestingly, when Syrian and Russian fighters gathered in the area again about a month later, the Americans once more contacted the Russian commander in charge. This time, it was not long after the end of the phone call that the entire Russian-Syrian fighting force hastily withdrew.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
For those who made it this far, thanks for watching. If you want to help us produce more content, feel free to leave a like and tell us what you
think. It can
think.
be a bit heavy, can't it? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, everyone's human, aren't they, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was just so stupid.
Yeah. And then he's sitting there saying all the stuff, but like they didn't ask for it.
And I can't even think even the medal's a bit ridiculous because, again, I suppose from their side again, you've gone into a battlefield fighting for the country and stuff like that, but you're getting a medal for something which you've gone in, which you know you're not going to win. There's no like it's meant to be a mistake technically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So they're kind of getting praised for
a mistake, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments
I get it.
what
It's
you
still a
guys think.
risk.
And they're just following orders at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys think in the comments. Smash that like button if you enjoyed, guys. Smash the subscribe button as well. You're absolute legends. And watch the video.
Have a fantastic day.
And we'll see you legends in the next one. Peace.